I'm more into conversational AI. Let's say we set up a voice bot, for example, right? Banking solution, right? Financial sector. It might be also insurance, right? Quite popular. And I want to identify the user through his voice, right? Yes. Which is a technology we are offering here, we are talking about. Yeah. And there are different approaches to it, right? So I'm aware of two existing ones. One is I give the user a preset phrase, sentence, yeah. Right? He needs to repeat, and based on that, I'm able to identify, is that his voice profile or not? And then there is a more sophisticated one, which is based on, let's say, free speech, right? Through the start, right through the beginning, the welcome, right? Just asking some questions whatsoever. How is your day going today, and stuff like that. Yes. And the user answering, I'm also able to retrieve his voice profile, right, and attribute it to that said user. Would you agree on that? Is that what we are talking about here? Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what I was alluding to with these different sorts of technologies. So if I sort of dumb it down a little bit, or that's not the right phrase, but just make it more understandable to sort of the lay person. Yeah, basically, as you quite correctly said, Nuno, there are two main types of voice biometrics technology around. One of them is let's call it the old school type of voice biometrics, which is called active voice biometrics. And as you quite rightly pointed out, this is what I think a lot of the audience will be familiar with, maybe from their own interactions with their banks, where, yes, they have to essentially say, like, the typical phrase which we hear is, my voice is my password, right? Right. And this is the expression that you have to say several times in a row in order to have your voice pre-created. And then when you're subsequently calling in, you have to repeat that same phrase several times again. So that's sort of the classical, most commonly known voice biometrics. What we're dealing with at Phonexia, and in conjunction with companies such as, for example, 2Impulse, is that we are actually using a different type of voice biometrics, which is called passive voice biometrics. And passive voice biometrics, again, as you rightly said, is working on the basis of free speech. Now, there are a lot of advantages to that particular technology, the one which is based on free speech. I would say the main two would be that it is, since it is entirely text independent and it is entirely language independent, it means that, first of all, the user themselves, they don't have to remember any specific phrase. Now, all right, remembering a one phrase is not, rocket science, but it does kind of make life a bit easier for the user. That's the one thing. The second thing is, of course, is its universal applicability, regardless of where that solution is being deployed. So because you're not dependent on the actual language being spoken, you can use that same technology without having to customize the technology to a specific language. So that is also, from that point of view, much easier to use.